Hello po sa lahat. Good morning, good afternoon, kung nasan man po kayo. Dako ng buong daigdig. Ito po ay isang presentation ng Low Carb Health Doctor Keto Metabolics to promote my advocacy to fight metabolic syndrome. Ito ay angkop na pinamagatang ako ay tumataba. Ano ngayon, ako ay healthy pa ba? So in English, if I am getting fat, am I still healthy? So ito po ay napaka-importanting paksa para malaman natin kung ano ba talaga ang katotohanan tungkol po dito. So may mga disclosures po akong babanggitin. Number one, dapat pag tatalakayin natin yung issue ito, dapat tayo ay open-minded kasi pag hindi po tayo open-minded, hindi na po tayo hindi po natin matutunan kung ano yung dapat nating matutunan saka hindi na natin maibabago at maituwid yung mga maling akala at saka maling pagkakaintindi natin ng mga bagay-bagay. So, ika nga sa salitang English, KNI, continuous and never-ending improvement. If we stop growing, we start dying. So, palagi tayong magkakaroon ng zero-based thinking. Knowing what I now know, is there anything that I do now that I need to stop doing and improve upon? Okay? So, importante rin dapat matuto tayong i-unlearn or intindihin muli kung ano talaga yung totoo at saka i-rethink or panibagong isipin kung ano ba talaga yung katotohanan sa mga bagay na nakikita natin saka na intindihan natin dati. My disclosures lang po ako. I am the owner of this platform, the lowcarbhealthmd.com tsaka lowcarbneurologist.com platform. Ito po yung primary advocacy website ko po at platform to fight metabolic syndrome. And these are my social media presence. Okay, so inaaanyayahan ko po kayong makinig at panoorin yung video na to hanggang dulo kasi this love month may ibibigay ako sa inyong special gift at makikita niyo po yan towards the end of this video. So, kaka-launch ko lang kasi ng Low Carb Health Doctor Keto Metabolics online educational platform ko po. So, later may babanggitin po akong mga bagay tungkol dyan. And hopefully, you will be able to learn much from it. Okay. So, yung ganitong sitwasyon ay palagi nating nakikita everywhere in the world. This is becoming a commonplace thing. Halos lahat ng karamihan ng tao sa buong mundo ay tumataba na, lumalagpas na sa ideal weight. So, pag ganun, ibig sabihin natin, it's either overweight or obese na po. Maraming tao sa buong mundo. At sa katunayan, itong article na to sa CNN na pinamagatang How Paradise Became the Fattest Place in the World. Kasi doon po sa South Pacific Islands, sa Polynesia, sa mga islands na malapit doon, sila po yung pinaka maraming tumatamang tao sa buong mundo. Ang tanong ngayon, bakit? Marami na rin doon sa kanila ay high blood at saka diabetic. So, magtataka dapat tayo kasi pag titingnan natin yung mga lumang picture ng mga ninuno natin, mga lola natin, like in this case in 1970s, bihira tayong makakakita ng mataba or overweight or obese. Pero ngayon, pag titingin tayo sa ating kapaligiran, kahit saan man tayo pupunta, lalo na pati na dito sa Pilipinas, karamihan or maraming tao ay tumataba na. So, this is a commonplace occurrence. Pati nga mga bata, they are getting chubbier. At saka ang problema nga lang doon, iniisip natin, kailang kunwari kasi we equate being chubby as being healthy, which is a big misconception. So, dapat maintindihan natin yan. Mga matataba na bata, isang sinyalis yun na there is some metabolic problem in them. So, in fact, itong cover na to ng Cosmopolitan Magazine, yung problema kasi dito, yung komentary ko lang dito sayang naman at karamihan kasi ng mga tumataba yung nagiging overweight at obese, metabolically, hindi na po kasi sila healthy. So, dapat, huwag nating baliktarin yung istorya. We do not spread the misinformation. Kasi in this case, they are trying to pedestalize obesity. Parang sinasabi nila na pag tayo ay tumataba, okay lang, healthy pa rin daw. So, in most cases, this is an absolute falsehood. Hindi po tama yan. Okay? So, sa buong mundo kasi ngayon, nagiging epidemic na po yung obesity or yung pagiging mataba. So, dapat mabahala tayo talaga. In fact, there is this word, a portmanteau word called diabesity. Parang pinagdugtong lang yung salitang diabetes at saka obesity. Now, it is becoming a massive global health scourge of epidemic proportions. So dito, papakita ko sa inyo sa Pilipinas, dumadami na talaga yung nagiging overweight or obese. So somewhere in the range between 20 to 30 to 40% of people sa buong Pilipinas nagiging overweight or obese na. Hindi magandang senyales yan. So baka naisip mo rin na ano nga yan, if I'm fat, so what? Pag tumataba ako, is it something that I have to be concerned with? Dapat ba mabahala ako? So dito sasagutin natin yung tanong na yan. If we are getting fat, ibig sabihin, again, it's either kayo po ay lumalagpas na sa timbang at overweight o kaya ay obese. Okay? So let's define that. So we have this thing called body mass index. Ano yung body mass index? So yung body mass index, isa tong pamamaraan na makuha natin kung yung timbang nyo ba, yung timbang natin ay nasa ideal range pa ba? Kasi sa tangkad natin, may ideal weight po talaga. Pag lumalagpas tayo dun sa ideal weight, ibig sabihin, hindi na yan kanais-nais. So, paano kinocompute yung BMI? So, BMI is computed by this equation. Yung timbang mo in kilo divided by yung tangkad mo in meter squared. Okay? So, pag yung BMI mo is beyond 25, this is Global World Health Organization criteria. So, ibig sabihin nun, overweight ka na. Pag yung BMI mo or body mass index is beyond 30, lagpas 30, ibig sabihin, obese ka na. So, there are 3 levels of obesity. Obese class 1, obese class 2, at saka obese class 3. So, the higher your BMI, the worse your obesity index is. And the worse your risk for complications na konektado dun sa yung tinatawag nating metabolic unwellness or metabolic dysfunction or metabolic syndrome, which later I will expound. So ito na ngayon, metabolic syndrome. Ano nga ba yung metabolic syndrome? Importante kasi dito sa metabolic syndrome, malaman natin, one of the most important components to define metabolic syndrome is yung pagiging obese sa bewang or yung abdominal obesity or visceral adiposity. Kasi metabolic syndrome, importanteng malaman natin, if you have metabolic syndrome, you are more prone to have heart disease, to have hypertension or high blood pressure, prone to diabetes rin po kayo, especially type 2 diabetes, and many others including cancer, dementia, fatty liver disease, polycystic ovarian syndrome, so on and so forth. So, ano nga ba yung metabolic syndrome? Na may definition na po dati yung official statement sa American Heart Association tungkol dun sa metabolic syndrome. So, may criteria na po kaming mga metabolic health practitioners and metabolic doctors to define what is metabolic syndrome and to diagnose the patients as such. So ito po yung listahan ng criteria. So any 3 of 5 of these criteria would help us diagnose a patient if may metabolic syndrome po ba kayo or wala. So una, yung pagiging obese or lumalaki na yung tiyan. So abdominal obesity. Ito po yung cutoff. Pag lalaki, dapat hindi lagpas 90 centimeters yung baywang mo. At the level of the navel. Pag babae po kayo, you shouldn't have a waist circumference lagpas 80 centimeters. Okay? Tapos, pag may high blood pressure na po kayo, kandidato na po kayong may metabolic syndrome. So, yung definition po natin ng normal blood pressure, dapat less than 130/85. Pag aabot na po kayo ng 130/85 or lagpas nun, isang criteria na po yun sa metabolic syndrome. So, yung pangatlo, pang-apat at saka pang-5, makukuha natin to sa blood test. So, dapat yung triglycerides nyo hindi lagpas ng 150 or hindi umaabot ng 150 or beyond. Yung blood sugar nyo po, lalo na yung fasting blood sugar, hindi dapat yun aabot ng 100 or lagpas. At saka yung tinatawag nating HDL cholesterol, which is normally associated with the term good cholesterol. Kumbaga, it should not be less than 40 for men. At saka sa babae, medyo mataas konti. It should not be less than 50 milligrams per deciliter for women. Okay? So, yun, dapat walang lalagpas ng 3 out of 5 of that in your case para hindi kayo ma-diagnose ng metabolic syndrome. So, ano yung kahalagahan ng metabolic syndrome at gaano na kalala ang may metabolic syndrome sa buong mundo? According to this particular journal article from Diabetes Care, so somewhere between 15 to 26-27% of the world population talagang pasok na doon sa definition natin ng metabolic syndrome. Okay? So ano nga ba yung metabolic syndrome? As I said, as I mentioned earlier, so pag may metabolic syndrome po kayo, this increases your risk, tumataas yung risk nyo po na magkaroon ng coronary heart disease or heart attack, diabetes, stroke, saka ibang mga health problems na konektado dun sa metabolic dysfunction. So in effect, metabolic syndrome is actually now called in the same way as insulin resistance syndrome. So ito yung ibang pangalan ng metabolic syndrome, insulin resistance syndrome. So why is metabolic syndrome called also insulin resistance? So dapat maintindihan natin anong ibig sabihin ng insulin resistance at saka ano yung connection nito ng pagtabaan natin at ano yung contribution nito sa obesity at saka pagiging overweight. So, karamihan kasi ng doktor, pati tayong lahat, laypersons, yung pagkakaintindi kasi natin ng insulin, pampapababa lang to ng blood sugar. Kunwari, it is a hormone supposedly helping lower blood sugar and it comes from the pancreas. Pero ang katotohanan kasi, which is not much well known, insulin has a whole lot more. Mas marami pang epekto yung insulin sa katawan natin. So, dito ipapakita ko sa inyo ano yung kabuuan, ano yung entire picture of insulin. So, how does insulin promote weight gain? Paano yung insulin nakaka-promote ng paglagpas ng timbang natin sa normal? Ito, lipogenesis at saka lipolysis. So, anong ibig sabihin nun? Pag mataas yung insulin level, it encourages our fat cells or our adipocytes to store fat. Okay? So, pag mababa yung insulin, that means the signal to store fat is gone. So, ngayon, we will be going into fat burning mode. So, again, pag mababa yung insulin, that's the time that we can burn fat more readily. Pag mataas yung insulin, yung katawan natin may signal to store fat, kaya tayo tumataba. So, what's important is not to keep our insulin levels very high. And that is hyperinsulinemia. And that is connected to yung tinatawag nating insulin resistance. So, ano yung insulin resistance? So, ganito kasi yung insulin resistance. Pag kumakain tayo ng pagkain, lalo na yung mataas yung carbohydrates, okay? May tatlong klaseng pagkain kasi. Carbohydrates, proteins, at saka fat. Doon sa tatlo, yung carbohydrates ang may pinakamalaking epekto sa pagtaas ng insulin. Dahil pagkakain tayo ng carbohydrate-rich foods, yung organ natin na pancreas ay maglalabas yun ng maraming insulin para mapapababa yung blood sugar level. Yung katawan kasi natin ayaw ng mataas na sugar level kasi knowing what I know, no, blood sugar levels reaching 140 and beyond is ultimately toxic to our body. Maraming komplikasyon yung pagiging mataas yung blood sugar. Okay? So again, pagkakain tayo ng carbohydrates, magpapalabas ng insulin yung pancreas natin. At saka, yung problema kasi, pag palaging tumataas yung insulin natin, halos bawat oras na lang. Like for example, breakfast, snacks, lunch, snacks, dinner. Pag palagi tayong kumakain ng carbohydrates dun sa mga oras na yun, ito mataas palagi yung insulin natin. Pag nasanay na yung katawan natin na palaging mataas yung insulin, eventually, certain cells in our body become resistant. Parang kumukontra na dun sa effect ng insulin. So, pag tumataas yung insulin resistance ng katawan natin, even if insulin levels is high, then it becomes more difficult for insulin to help our cells get in more of the blood sugar or blood glucose. Kaya more often than not, most often, palagi na rin tumataas yung blood sugar natin pag may insulin resistance tayo. At dahil, gaya sinabi ko kanina, insulin promotes storage of fat. Kaya tumataba rin tayo pag palaging tumataas yung insulin levels natin. Pag ganon, kasi hindi naman na-burn yung fat natin at kulang tayo ng enerhiya or energy, we feel tired and hungry, and then dahil doon nagugutom tayo, kakain ulit tayo. Pag kakain ulit tayo, carbohydrate-rich foods yung kinakain natin, parang magiging vicious cycle na yan. Palagi na lang tumataas yung insulin natin at magiging more and more insulin resistant yung katawan natin. So, next question. Ano ngayon kung insulin resistant yung katawan natin or may insulin resistance na tayo? Ito, papakita ko to sa inyo yung review article from the journal Frontiers of Endocrinology. So, yung pamagat ng journal article na to is the crucial role and mechanism of insulin resistance in metabolic disease. Dito kasi, pinapahayag ng maigi kung ano talaga yung mga epekto ng pagkakaroon ng insulin resistance. So, marami. Okay? Maraming doktor, hindi pa to gaano uh, aware. So many doctors are not that very aware of this. So most people, mostly persons in the world also, are not very receptive of this. So kunwari sa heart, dahil yung insulin is one of the most important reason but bumabara yung mga ugat natin. So pati sa heart. So pag yung ugat ng puso natin babara, pwede yung magkakaroon ng heart attack. Okay? Sa utak natin, central nervous system, there is this thing called the development of brain insulin resistance. So, pag nagiging resistant na yung mga nerve cells sa brain natin to the effect of insulin, it becomes resistant to insulin. There is brain insulin resistance and then you develop dementia, yung kagaya ng Alzheimer's disease. Okay? So, marami pang iba dyan, pati tumors in the setting of high insulin levels are more prone to grow faster, lalo na yung breast cancer sa mga babae. Okay, sa atay, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is very much connected to insulin resistance. Kaya ngayon, marami nang may fatty liver. Yung chronic kidney disease, complication kasi yun ng high blood pressure at saka type 2 diabetes. Kaya malaking complication yun ng insulin resistance. At sa mga kababaihan dyan, yung polycystic ovarian syndrome or PCOS, insulin resistance yung pinaka-ugat nun. So, bakit ko, why am I emphasizing on this? Kasi pag titingnan natin for the recent decades, kung ano talaga yung pinakasanhi ng maagang pagkamatay or in general, the top 10 causes of death worldwide today. So, hindi lang sa Pilipinas, sa buong mundo. Okay? So, kung titingnan natin, the top most causes of death globally now, yung tinatawag nating non-communicable disease, yung mga sakit na hindi naman nagkukuha natin sa infection. So ito yung figures ng 2019 at saka may panibagong figures ngayon 2021. So nadagdag lang dyan yung COVID kasi pansamantala kunwari may COVID. Pero karamihan ng namamatay dun sa COVID at na-admit sa ICU may metabolic syndrome talaga. Mataba, may diabetes, may high blood. Okay? So pag titingnan natin, heart attack, stroke, cancer, um, kidney diseases, diabetes, dementia. Ito, related po ito, konektado po ito sa insulin resistance or metabolic syndrome. Kaya kung pati dito sa Pilipinas, okay, karamihan ng sanhi ng pagkakamatay at pati na rin yung maagang pagkakamatay, konektado pa rin sa insulin resistance or metabolic syndrome. So, it is safe to say, again, I remind you and I urge you to wake up, okay? The pinaka number one cause of death in the Philippines today and in the whole world is metabolic syndrome. So, again, metabolic syndrome kills. So I urge you to help fight metabolic syndrome. So metabolic syndrome is the main cause of insulin resistance. Okay. So again, metabolic syndrome is the main cause of insulin resistance. And ito, papakita ko sa inyo ng epekto ng insulin. Kanina nabanggit ko kung ano yung epekto ng insulin sa katawan. At saka ngayon, papakita ko sa inyo kung ano yung mga epekto dun sa pagtaas ng insulin sa iba't ibang pagkain. Ito ang epekto ng mga fatty foods dun sa insulin. So, bahagya lang. So, pag protein naman yung kinakain natin, may konting taas ng insulin. Pero nakaka-counteract kasi ito ng yung tinatawag nating counter-regulatory hormone na glucagon. Okay, so, bahagya na rin overall yung effect ng insulin. So, lastly, ito yung effect ng carbohydrate. So, talagang tataas yung level ng insulin sa dugo pagkakain tayo ng carbohydrate. So, ito yung paghahambing ng tatlong klaseng pagkain. So, if you look at this, carbohydrate is really the number one driver for chronic elevation of insulin at development ng insulin resistance. Okay? So, anong dapat gagawin natin? Okay? So, papakita ko lang sa inyo, ako, yung experience ko. Kasi aside from me being a doctor, a neurologist, ako kasi dati nag-develop ng metabolic syndrome. And in this advocacy of mine to help fight metabolic syndrome, I am my patient number one in my own experience. So, ito ako dati. And then eventually, when I reach my 30s, unti-unting, unti-unting lumalaki na ako, nagigain ng weight. Okay? So, I am BMI 28.2 at that time. Okay? So, gradual siya, gradual. I know you can relate kasi maraming tao sa buong mundo. Ganito rin yung experience. Konti-konti nagigain ng weight, lalo na kung you're in your 30s, you're in your 40s. Kaya nga, sabi nila life begins at 40, di ba? Okay. So, eventually, um, nung nalaman ko kung ano talaga yung pinakasanhi ng metabolic syndrome after making a deep dive, kasi ako nga nagkaroon ng metabolic syndrome, I successfully reversed my metabolic syndrome process. So, in a matter of 2 to 3 months, naging normal na ulit yung katawan ko. Dun sa katawang BMI 28 and above, I have 5 medications. There may 5 akong gamot doon. I successfully removed all 5 of those medications and all my metabolic markers became normal again. In 1 week's time, my blood pressure became normal. Kasi at that time, aside sa elevated blood pressure, yung blood sugar ko tumatas na rin. I was in a pre-diabetic stage. Yung triglyceride ko napakataas, almost 200. Yung HDL ko mababa. Okay? Tsaka yung after 2 to 3 months, na-reverse ko lahat. So my BMI within normal already. And that persisted until today. So in effect, it shows na yung chronic diseases kagaya ng high blood, diabetes, at saka pagiging mataba. Yung pagiging mataba, simptoma kasi yun, isang sinyalis ng metabolic dysfunction as defined by metabolic syndrome. So many people in the world today can actually improve the metabolic syndrome or insulin resistance or yung pagiging mataba. Talagang pwede nating i-reverse yun. Saka pwede nating gawing healthy ulit yung katawan natin. So, tawag ko sa personal journey ko may 3 component. That's how I am approaching helping people achieve successful and consistent and persistent weight loss. Okay? So, may 3 basehan ako, scientific. Kasi lahat ng ginagawa ko sa platform ko, may basihan yan sa ebidensya ng siyensya. It's evidence-based medicine. And then, personal, because andun na ako eh. I've been there, I've done that, and I have successfully reversed my own insulin resistance and metabolic syndrome. And lastly, clinical, kasi I have successfully applied it to the greatest majority of my patients for the past 4 to 5 years that I have been using this strategy to reverse metabolic syndrome among all of my patients. Okay? So, anong gagawin natin yan? May video ako na nakalagay na sa YouTube channel ko, yung Shield Your Health. So, this essentially summarizes the overall approach I do for my patients. So, anong ibig sabihin ng Shield? May abbreviation yan ng specific components of Shield. So, number 1 is having a restful sleep. So, around 7 to 9 hours for most people. Having a harmonious mind and body. So, iwas stress. Stress is one of the biggest contributor to fast onset insulin resistance. So I means interactions with other people that are meaningful. So avoid toxic people. E is exercising regularly, but caveat, okay, if you have a poor high carbohydrate diet, no amount of exercise can reverse the toxic effects. And then L stands for learning continuously. If we do not learn continuously, we cannot unlearn wrong ideas and wrong learnings that we had in the past. And then last but not the least, and I think one of the most important components of SHIELD is following an ideal and proper human diet. So in terms of diet, ano nga ba yung ideal proper human diet? So hands down, knowing what I now know, the ideal human diet is the low carbohydrate diet. Okay? So, marami nang nagsasabing low carbohydrate diet is the ideal and proper human diet. Yung proper human diet, nakuha ko yan kay Dr. Ken Berry in the US. So, in my own personal experience for the past 4 to 5 years, marami-rami na rin talaga akong nakitang na-reverse ko yung metabolic syndrome. And I have many associates and friends and acquaintances who have reversed their own insulin resistance and metabolic syndrome. So that started with me as patient number 1 again. So this was me, okay? This is my journey. This is a friend of mine, Marco Reyes. He is a chemical engineer and he actually has an advocacy platform also to promote metabolic health dito sa Pilipinas. I think many of you may know him. And then this is another friend of mine. He is a physiatrist, a rehabilitation medicine doctor, Dr. RJ Villanueva. He's based in Butuan, and I think he is the longest practicing low carb or longest practicing doctor doing low carb for himself, I think for the past 14 years. And then this is another friend of mine who is a gastroenterologist, specialista po sa bituka at saka sa tiyan. So he is Dr. Ramon Yap. and he has been on the low carbohydrate diet for the past more or less 7 years. And then ito po si Miss Marigold Talingdan. She is a nurse based in the US. So she has successfully reversed her metabolic syndrome using low carb diet. And then this is, I think, a number of you may also know her, Anne Saldana. She successfully reversed a lot of diseases. She was almost, she got admitted in the ICU already before, and she had liver fibrosis, but she managed to successfully reverse that. Na ituwid niya po yung liver fibrosis niya dahil sa low carbohydrate diet. Okay? So, some take home message after this. So, may isang universal law akong i-share sa inyo, yung law of cause and effect. In short, it says, you reap what you sow. So, sa buhay natin, yung lahat ng ginagawa natin may epekto. So, lahat rin ng nangyayari sa buhay natin ngayon, epekto yun sa lahat ng mga ginawa natin in the past. So, either magdusa tayo from our wrong choices, we suffer from our wrong choices, or alternately, we can also reward ourselves later on for the right choices that we make today. So later on, when we become successful with our goals, we only have ourselves to congratulate and reward. Okay? So may tatlo kasi akong importanteng tanong for all of my patients and for all of those who ask me about my advocacy to fight metabolic syndrome. So my first question is, pag ikaw tatanungin, how many more healthy years? Ilang taon pa ba yung gusto mong mabuhay sa mundong ito na maaliwalas yung pangangatawan? Healthier body. Okay? So, number 2, question is, motivated ka ba to really fix your body and maituwid at maibalik doon sa yung healthy status mo talaga dati pa? Are you motivated to fix your body and regain your long-lost metabolic health? And then, question number 3, ito, isa sa pinaka-importanting tanong. Are you going to accept personal responsibility? Tatanggapin mo ba na personal mong responsibilidad ang sariling katawan mo? So, kung anong mangyari sa katawan mo dahil sa kagagawan mo, dapat tanggapin mo yan kasi yung katawan mo at saka yung health mo, yung pagiging maaliwalas yung pangangatawan mo, personal na responsibilidad mo yun. Okay? So, dito, introduce ko ulit sa inyo yung first ever na kaka-launch ko lang na Keto Metabolics platform dun sa Low Carb Health Doctor website ko. This is the first ever platform for personal metabolic health education. This is the first ever medically guided, modular, online, structured, and metabolic health oriented platform as far as I know here in the Philippines. So I am the course director po. Andun sa website, bibigyan ko kayo ng link in this video. So, as an introductory course or workshop, ito po yung pinakapalad na online modular short course workshop na ila-launch po ng Keto Metabolics platform. This is entitled The Power of Low Carb Diets. At gaganapin ko po ito live, okay? This coming February 22, Sabado, from 1:30 to 5 p.m. via Zoom. Okay, so ano pong meron dito sa workshop na to? Pinamagatang Power of Low Carb Diets. So may 3 session. Yung unang session, I will be discussing the science. Ano yung totoong siyensya behind the low carb diets. Session number 2, assessing your current diet and setting goals. Dapat malaman natin kung saan tayo nagmumula. Where are we coming from? Especially if we are not yet well-versed with the low carbohydrate dietary approach to fix our metabolic health. And then, pangatlong session, how to properly plan low carb meals. And then, may lifestyle tips akong ibibigay sa inyo tungkol sa low carb lifestyle. Okay? So, as I was saying earlier, ito po ay isang live Zoom presentation this coming February 22, Saturday. So I will be giving you a printable PDF e-guide or checklist. And then in that live presentation, may question and answer session po tayo sa lahat ng participants. Okay? So And thereafter, you will be given an attendance certificate from this short course workshop. So, since in this pilot course, I will be limiting the slots up to 100 lang po, so I can properly address the questions and the answers of all the attendees. So this is on a first come first serve basis. So I urge you to register now. So nung February 8, I held an online webinar, and at that time there was this 50% off promo, pero tapos na po yan. But good news, okay? As I said earlier, there I will be giving you a gift for the Love Month this February 2025. So I urge you to be an early bird. So may early bird rate po tayo to attend that webinar. So from the introductory course fee of 998, this special early bird rate will have a 20% off for you to become part of the limited slots of 100. As long as there are still slots available, you can avail of the early bird rate, which is until February 18 only. So I urge you to register now. So paano mag-register? Dito, pag titingnan nyo, may QR code. You can scan the QR code with your mobile device, and it will lead you to the landing page of the website for this short course that I will be presenting this February 22. Or, pag hindi po kayo marunong mag-QR, you go to this website, type bit.ly/low carb power. Yung L, C at saka P po ng low carb power is in uppercase, capital letters po. And then you go to the landing page ng website dun sa course na Power of Low Carb, and then from there you can access the registration. So again, reminder po, for those who are interested to join my first ever pilot online short course, seminar, workshop, or webinar, I urge you to register now to avail of the early bird rate until February 18. So, see you there.